Welcome everybody to TruExact Show. I'm here with Brian, Eric, and Dan, who wears a suit. He's the best dressed man in the DC land. We
like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that.
And we're here today with our special guest, DJ, producer, engineer, NEF. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Life is busy. Life is beautiful.
Now, we want to thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Met like a week or two ago and, got contacts. Very interesting dude. Great producer, by the way. Big fans. So before we get into, the past and stuff, let's start with you and your upbringing, how you got into music in general.
Getting into music. So I think my story is a little different than a lot of people in my industry, especially when I talk with people in my crew and stuff about they were 10 years old listening to Public Enemy and all this kind of stuff. I grew up listening to the Beatles and Jimi Hendrix and Donovan and Cat Stevens, and that was what my parents grew up what they listened to. And I actually was one of the rare kids that liked what my parents listened to, and I listened to that for a while. I went through I was listening to punk, rock, alternative. I kind of listened to everything. They had classical music on, and then I think it was Napster came out, and I went on my sister's computer, or the computer she was using at that time, and I found Lauryn Hill. I found The Chronic 2001. I found Eminem, stuff like that, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? This is crazy." And I gravitated towards that, but I grew up in a small town where it was that was super rare for that to happen. Just listening to hip hop, it just wasn't a big thing in my town.
You're in New Hampshire, right?
Yeah, so I grew up at that point in time. I was living right on the border. I was in Maine, and there was nothing really going on in that town, so I was always in New Hampshire, and it was just a lot of back and forth. So yeah, small town type of deal. And then I started working in kitchens when I was 14, and that's when I guess it really took off. Being around older people in the kitchen, playing Ready to Die every day. We would literally close the kitchen down, go smoke a couple bowls, and then put Ready to Die on and just zone out and clean the kitchen. And
were you one of those dudes who was "Hey guys, could we play a little Beatles tonight and A Hard Day's Night?" And they're like, "Yeah, right, kid."
Nah. I listened to everything and I love that shit.
Right. Yeah, me too.
I heard it, and I was like, whoa, my mind was blown. My whole world changed. I remember going into my weed dealer's crib for the first time when I was 14. And he had, I don't know if you guys even know who Cage is, or DJ Shadow.
Yeah, Cage.
So he had Cage's last cool album, Hell's Winter, on, and it was a DJ Shadow beat, and he just got a new. So literally, he was cleaning his new AK-47 while bumping his new system, and I walked in just what is happening right now? What the fuck?
In a rap video.
Yeah, I was I've never seen a gun before, and we walk in, and I'm hearing this, and it's just blasting crazy. And then at that point, those guys I was hanging around with, they started I feel Biggie was the first thing that I really fell in love with, and then they were playing everything Def Jux and LP and Ideal and Abilities and a bunch of just super nerdy rap stuff. That's what I started listening to.
Let me ask you this real quick. Now you said the first kind of rap you heard was Biggie. What specifically about Biggie was the thing that really made you be like, holy shit, this shit is crazy? Because the only reason I ask is because that was some of the first rap that I ever heard. Yeah. I had a babysitter, and when she would take us to McDonald's, she would always have Biggie on, and I was because my parents would always listen to classic rock and stuff like that, the Beatles and all that stuff, and that's the music you hear, and you're like, oh, okay, this is music. And then you get this guy on saying all this shit and in a different way to beats, and it's bumping in the car, and you're like, what the fuck?
For me, he sounded like he didn't give a fuck. Like, he was just like, yo, like, I think I'm cool. I don't give a fuck. And, you know, he was like, all right, cool, like all the rock stuff and everything. They were talking about like doing drugs in a weird, secretive way.
Right.
But like at that point, he was just like, oh, I'm smoking blunts. And I'm like, I'm hooking up with chicks and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Like, I don't care.
10 crack commandments.
10 crack commandments. Like, give me the loot, bro. I thought that was so badass. Like,
so you were more like, you like the directness of it rather than like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Where
yeah, exactly. Where I was like, it's a concept. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, actually.
He was open about it, and he was just like, yeah, this is who I am. And
I just have to throw out there, because I know you're a fan of old music. I'm a huge Air Supply fan, which has been said on this show. No one
never was. There's like a gap that my parents, there was like no Air Supply. I don't even think any like Queen.
You know what?
Pink Floyd is like never spoken about.
I've said Air Supply like 3 times on the show, and I get the same reaction. I'm just waiting for that one person who's like, I love them too.
I can't think of any tunes.
I'll sing.
There are people. There are people.
I'll sing one when we're done. We're done recording.
There's always someone like that.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, I like this, and none of your friends fuck with it.
So do you think though, with you going into like making beats and stuff, your experience with all types of music helped out?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I don't know if I can do it. But like all this, like all like my vinyl, this is like a short collection. I got rid of a lot when I moved to New York. And then I got rid of even more. But like you don't see any hip hop in there. I had hip hop, but like the stuff that I like to keep is just like, it's different. I don't know. I mean, I think we were talking about it too, and I hate like, because it, you know, what's going on in the world. But there was this producer the other day, and he was in the studio, and he was like, yo, I feel like I know what type of person or what race like that person is by the type, like by me hearing their beats. Okay. And like what they listen to. And you know, I don't know if that's true, but he could tell it was mine. Like he could tell I was like a nerdy white kid, pretty much. I'm like, all right, cool. But that shows me that like my upbringing and like what I listen to is obviously different than other people. You know what I mean? And I think I go for a lot more abstract stuff. When I first started making beats, I was like, I'm only gonna do soul and jazz. And now, you know, I got comfortable, and it's like I do a lot of prog rock and like weird German or like French or Italian music.
Right, cool. So, I saw Dan's face light up, so I'll throw.
No. So like, what's like one of like your like favorite ones to like sample from? Like, what's like a beat that like no one would expect that you like to like use?
Oh, I get lost when I sample. I just have so much. I would say, I mean, Russian, definitely, because you would never think the way that I flip it. Russian and Japanese music, a lot. I'll do. Yeah.
And that's all on like new vinyl, or is that like old vinyl that you just find like?
Literally, well, so that's the vinyl I started with and what I have, but like lately I've been doing a lot of digital digging, to be honest. And I'll just get a shit ton of music, and I'm just like, I have like a bunch of different subfolders, and I'll just categorize it and go through it and just kind of zone out through the day. And I get like a lot of library music too, which is not like reading library. It's just like, I don't even know why they call it library music, to be honest. I'm not really sure, but it's just like weird atmospheric music and like stuff that can be played in the background of a movie, shit like that.
Like a lo-fi almost, or
yeah. I could say that. Like if you sampled it, you would turn it into lo-fi. It's like what a lot of lo-fi comes from.
Okay.
Where do you come across these new beats, like Japanese music? Like where do you go on Spotify or?
No, I mean, I know like there's a couple dudes out there that dig. They just like, you know, there's a club that I'm in. I'm not going to mention it so no one blows my spot up. But there's been a producer club. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah. Whatever. Hopefully this dude like gets some money from it. It's
exclusive.
Yeah. Vinyl Frontier, and it's like I found him from YouTube because I was just finding more stuff on YouTube, and you know, you pay, and then he gets you with the YouTube, and then he has like a $30 a month or whatever, and you end up getting emails, and like you get a passcode to his website, and I get like 250 to 300 albums a month, just from that.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, and you know, I used to spend, you know, 200 a day in one day just on vinyl, and I get, you know, maybe 10 samples or something.
It has to be impossible to keep up with that too. Like, there's not enough time in the day, right?
No. There's not. There's definitely not. And like, since just with like, I've had a lot of life stuff happen, and like, I think I'm still on like February. I have like the other months downloaded, but like I just keep downloading them to have them, and then I just go through them at my leisure.
Now, could you take us through like a simplified version of like the technical process of sampling to creating a beat? So like, let's say you pick a record, you find something you like. What's the next steps after that?
I mean, for me, I feel like either you have this already in your head or you have to train yourself, or a little bit of both. But just like while you're listening, of like being able to like fast forward and like create while you're listening. And like I'll listen to stuff, and within a couple seconds, maybe sometimes the first note, I'll hear something, I'm like, no, not even gonna fuck with this entire album. Or I'll be like, you know what, maybe I should fast forward through it. But like before, I used to listen to like, I would skim through the entire track, every single thing. I would skim through the entire track. And now, over time, I'm just like, I know if I'm gonna like it or not, especially like with the style that I've cultivated over time. And I'll be able to be like, all right, cool. I'm gonna loop that. Nah, I'm gonna chop it up. Nah, you know what? This is a maybe. I'll put aside. I do a lot of maybes. I'll put them aside, because the way that I do it for me is I don't like to dig and create on the spot. I like to separate everything. So I'll like spend a couple hours or a whole day of just digging and just making it, because when I go make beats, I want it to be as easy of a process as possible. So I can just make as much, and I don't want to get out of that creative zone. And for me, it's like kind of it's almost two different parts of my brain, where like one is like very technical of trying to find the sample, and making the beats is more like blacking out and just like going with it and just like letting it happen naturally. I stopped forcing my sound a lot, maybe like 4 years ago, and I just find I make better beats when I don't force it. So I use that part of when I'm listening to beats, and I'm listening to samples, and I'll just go, all right, cool. I'm already making the beat in my head, pretty much. Yes. I'm like, all right, cool. I can use that later. I'm already made the beat. I already know what kind of snare I want to use, what style of beat it's gonna be, and it's just like an instant thing. That wasn't an overnight thing though. There was a lot of trial and error, and then I just started listening to music in a different way.
During the process too, do you like know like what like artists you would want, like you work with Ren a lot, so like do you know like, oh, like this would be good for him? Or
sometimes and I even do like it's not like the main thing, but I do like in the back, I do like the type beats on YouTube and shit like that, just to create extra income. You gotta do everything, right. But that's something, it's not hard for me too, but like I have like a different mentality lately. Before, I used to be like, oh my god, these are my best beats, I have to stash them aside, I know exactly who I want to give them to someday. And now I'm like, well, if you have that mentality, you're never going to make a better beat than the one that you just made. Like, you're never going to get past that. You're going to stay in that fucking pocket again. I mean, and it's not going to happen again. So now, you can be like, oh, what's your best beats? I'll be like, the last batch I made. Because that's the mentality I have to make. If I go through my beats after I've made them, I can be like, all right, this dude would sound dope on that. That dude would sound dope on this. And another thing too is like I've tried to, and I think a lot of people, and I think it's a good thing too, when you're sending beats to somebody, they'd be like, oh, I think they'd like these. But I've also in times realized, I'm not going to play this beat for this person. And I'll skip over it, and they're like, yo, what the fuck was that? And they just skipped over 10 other beats I thought they would like, but the one I wasn't really fucking with, they killed it. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like, sometimes it's up to the producer, and sometimes you have to like take your pride out of it and just like let them do what they want to do.
I want to ask, touch on what Dan said. So you got guys like in your mind, you want to rap on a beat. How annoying is it though when, let's say, all right, you obviously have a certain style. Oh, you have a certain style you want on the beat, and you, let's say, even though you make money, you sell it to someone, and they'll like send, let's say I made a song to one of your beats, I send it, hey man, thanks, here's a finished product, and it's just not what you envisioned. Like, does that irk you at all?
It does, until I have to pay my bills.
Right. So
I mean, yeah, before I used to not even like play certain beats with certain people, and like I had not bad experiences, but like close bad experiences. Right. But that's where that mentality comes in so good. The one I just mentioned of like, yo, because I'll be like, I'll sell a beat to some dude. I'm like, fuck, I love that beat.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, it happens, but I just remind myself, bro, you think you can't make another beat like that? Come on. Why are you acting like this?
So
like, you gotta.
So you brought that up too, about like your ego and pride with all this stuff too. How does it feel if, or like when, like artists that you've worked with go to another producer for certain things? Does that like piss you off, or you're like, all right, like I get it?
Not really anymore. It used to. I mean, bro, I grew up in a small town, and I started making beats and selling them in a small town. When I was when I first started selling beats, I was selling beats for like $50, $75, like whatever, because I just wanted to be able to be like, I sold that, and it's legit.
Cool. Yeah.
But you know, there was, and that's like exclusively too. It's not even leasing, like leasing, whatever. I have beats set aside that I'm like, all right, these are not, they're not throwaways, but like once they're on my site for leasing, like they don't exist to me anymore. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, I definitely had times where like I'd tell a rapper one thing about a price, and then another dude was telling him half the price because he found out what my price was. Right. And that was just small town bullshit. Now it's just like, you're always gonna be like, man, I would like if it's an artist you really wanted to work with, man, I wish I worked with that person. But no, like I'm not. To be honest, I'm not. When I need to be an asshole, I can do that, but like that is very rare. So like I don't really get a lot of that because I show people so much love. You know what I mean? Now,
can you go through the explanation of the different? Because our producer Evo, he puts beats on for lease as well. Can you just explain really quick? Because I bought beats before with leases. And
I love it. It's a fucking dope thing, and
because it's kind of like and it's kind of like it's still yours. I could use it, but if it blows up, hey, that's good for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, everybody wins off of it, and that's why I was saying like the one like for me, like if let's say someone comes to me for beats, I'm like, what are you looking for? What's your budget? Like I already have my rates, but I want to know like what direction to shoot them in. Like, are you medium serious? Are you just trying with these? Are you just trying to like get something out on Instagram, or are you like doing a single that you're gonna push on the radio? Or like you're doing your debut album, because then it's like, all right, cool, I'm going to send you my exclusives, tell you my pricing, the bulk pricing, all that. But then, with leasing, it's like, all right, cool. Like you can still put this stuff on albums. Mm-hmm. It also depends on like what the restrictions are. Like I have my $25 lease. People will normally get that like if they're writing or if it's just something for promo or a mixtape. And then like I have this group from back home. They did like the cheap lease and the $25 lease for like 10 or 15 beats. And then they recorded to all of them, and then they were like, all right, yo, we're making this project serious. It's all you. We're going to do the unlimited lease on all of them now. We're going to upgrade our shit. So they did that so they could get the track outs, and they didn't have any, any issues with streaming, stuff like that with the numbers. Like, the $25, you get this. I think I have like a $75 one. You get, it's like 5 times the amount of streams for the limit, and then the unlimited. For me, I think, if you're an artist, a great way to do it is like, all right, get the 2-track lease, and then when you're about to drop it, and like if you're really putting out a whole project, and then get if leasing is your thing. And then get like the unlimited one, because you'll never have an issue with that. The producer's getting his money, you're getting your money, all of BMI is squared away, but you have the trackouts. And it's like you're getting exclusive, but there might be another rapper out there. There will be another rapper out there that's, rapping on that beat. And that's really the only difference. So with that, that's really the only difference is like my exclusives, nobody's ever fucking recorded on those. With the leases, it's all the different categories, and you can still get it like you're getting an exclusive if you want to pay top dollar for your lease, but other artists have had it. And like on the producer standpoint, like I can sell that beat to as many artists as I want. I can keep making money. Sometimes you make more money doing the lease versus exclusive, depending on how popular the track is. So I think it's been great having a little bit of both.
But I gotta ask, so like, all right, I recently bought a lease from West Coast BEATMAKER, and I made a song on it. So yeah, you're right. Other artists have probably rapped on it. Now, if that song specifically, that specific song blows up, you're saying the artist in that sense, since he knows it's going somewhere, would be better off now contacting them. Hey, let's purchase the exclusive and we'll split 50 or whatever.
Exactly. So you would either, it depends, it also is a personal preference. Like you could be like, all right, this is going to blow up. I'm going to get the exclusive, or I'm going to get the unlimited. The unlimited is fine, but he has to keep it on his website. You know what I mean? He can still keep selling that. If you get the exclusive, I got to take it down. Other artists still have that if they already purchased it prior to you. But as soon as you get that exclusive, that beat goes off. And then, go ahead.
No, that's amazing how much, in depth goes into the beat selling and making processes.
Oh, it's wild.
You know what's funny? One time, then this was a long time ago, but I had leased the beat that Trap Queen is on.
Yeah, see, that's how crazy it is.
Bro, that shit was on SoundClick on a page, and I clicked it, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, yo, this would be such a good song. I never did anything with it. I literally still have it on my laptop. And it's got the guy, it's got the DJ's name in the beginning of it and everything.
Yeah, I got the tag.
And then when that song actually came out, when I heard it come on the radio, I was like, yo, this sounds so familiar. As I'm 97, I was like,
yo, that shit is fucking wild. Yo, because I've wondered that. I've never heard someone having that story, and I know that story is out there. You know what I mean? That story is definitely out there.
How do you go about pricing your beats? If you're it's like this tier, if it's like this one's really good, but to you it might be.
They're all the same.
Okay.
They're all the same.
Oh, okay.
But pricing beats is hard though.
Does it go more by the artist? Let's say, I'm just throwing two names out here. Let's say someone who's a SoundClick artist wants a beat, and then someone self-titled or Apathy wants a beat. I'm assuming the prices are different.
Yeah, no, the prices are definitely different. And if all right, so say if you get which I haven't, but I know, my circle, all that type of shit, I've seen all of that. Say if you get a major label placement, bro, you're selling that exclusive for way more than you would be able to really ever sell it, because those people they have a budget. They're not specifically paying for it. It comes out of their pocket in the end because it's part of their own budget. But there's going to be a lawyer involved. There's going to be a contract sent to you. A lot of times they set the price, and it's just going to be a high price. And then sometimes it might not be. Say it's an indie, maybe it's a big artist, but it's an indie label. And you're like, yo, bro, I just need to be relevant right now. You might just want to try to figure out how to make it work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm I'm always I guess, I don't know if I want to say I'm always up for negotiation because that sounds bad. But in the same sense, yo, if I tell somebody my top price, really anybody, and they're like, no, but what about, I'm going to keep talking to them. But there's a lot of artists out there that they hear the price, they hear my price, and then they're just fucking gone. And they're like, what? And I'll be like, yo, so what was it? Like, was it the price? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, so why didn't you say anything? Or like, why not just get a lease? Like, why did you end the conversation? Like, you should be ending the conversation. Like, yes, we all deserve our money. Me, I pay my bills, all that shit, solely off of music,
right?
Off of beats, studio, whatever it is, putting music out. But in the same sense, if you're gonna haggle someone a little bit, it is what it is. But yeah, like point blank to answer that question, like yeah, a bigger artist is either gonna it depends. If you want your name out there, you might not do too much. But for the most part, you're going to get more money from someone that's established. And then from somebody that's not, you're going to get your regular fee. Or if you're like super low and you're like, all right, whatever, I want to help this dude out. Like he negotiated, he doesn't have a lot in his budget. Cool. And right there, that's like every situation.
And then with the leasing stuff, like too, so say like the hypothetical, somebody does get big with it. Do you disclose what other artists have that beat as well, or like it's just it's out there?
I never thought about that.
Hey, Dan gets smarter when he puts his.
No, yeah, I respect that. I like that. There was a situation too, and I had to like reach out to somebody because I have friends that make like fucking $10,000 a month off of just leasing beats.
Cool.
And it's insane. And like for me, like I would love to just have like generating a lot of money or whatever, just a steady with just the leases, because then I wouldn't have to sell to whoever, and you can just focus on making your music. You don't have to focus on I gotta sell a beat this week. But anyways, I had there was these dudes that got a bunch. I told you before, it was the same dudes. They got a bunch of the 2-track, the MP. No, I don't even do MP3s. I hate that bullshit. 2-track. It's fucking whack. Dude, get a fucking MP3 with a tag. Nah, bro, I don't put tags on my shit, and you get a wave because I don't know. It's weird. But so they got the 2 tracks, and then they were like, all right, cool. We are ready to like mix. Now we want to do the unlimited ones, and one of them was not on my website before anymore because somebody else went ahead and bought 10 exclusives off of, which was weird. I sent them my exclusive folder because I have like I use Box, which is like it's like Google Drive or like Dropbox, but it's I don't know, it's a new thing that I like. Anyways, he decided to buy the exclusives off the website that I leased, and I was like, all right, I have no issue with that. Like, I've already made money off of all these beats. And the guys that wanted to upgrade their leases couldn't find one of the beats because it got bought out exclusively. And I had to reach out, like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or whatever. You reach out for the phone call and ask your friend, right? And he was like, yeah, you can still upgrade. So even though someone got it, it's not a new customer, but that person was able to upgrade to get the stems, which I was like mind blown and so happy for this person to do that. So yeah.
How'd you meet up with Statik?
Man, so I met up with Statik. So he went to high school in New Hampshire, about 20 minutes, maybe a half hour from where I grew up. Like, he's originally from Lawrence, Methuen area in Mass. And which is it's like right outside of Boston. So, Term lives there. So we had mutual friends. I mean, they were all older than me. But like his high school the dudes he hung out with in high school, and like some of the first people he ever started doing hip hop with. And they were some of the last people that I started doing hip hop with in New Hampshire when I was there. And they were like, Statik and these dudes like made it so there was a hip hop scene in New Hampshire, which you would not think that, but there's actually a pretty big scene out there. Not saying that people are popping or whatever, but there's people there doing their thing. I did music full time for a living for like a year before I moved to New York. But anyways, why would I not reach out to him? We both are DJ producers. you know, he moved from New Hampshire to Boston to New York. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to skip Boston. I just really, that was because I delayed pulling the trigger on moving for so long. So I hit him up, and, you know, I just asked him for advice, and it makes me laugh every time, because it's like, he said, go, something along the lines of, go to as many shows as possible. There's plenty of people that want beats. Or buy beats or whatever. And I was like, I was like panicking, moving to a fucking new city. Like, why couldn't you like give me a spreadsheet of how to do this? Like, ah! And what he said was completely true. He's like a man of few words or whatever, and he wants you to figure it out. It's more like a father relationship in that situation. Like, he's like, go do this, and then you're gonna like figure out how to do it and like how to fail a bunch of times, and then you'll be like, fuck, you were right. Okay, I get it. Now I know what you're saying. So I moved out there. I started like Googling and like searching on Facebook for events, and just trash was coming up. But I was still going to them, and I was like telling him that I was going to them, and then like asking him what's like every day, or like I think at one point I was like nervous to like even hit him up. I'm like, what's happening tonight? And then like 2 days later, yo, what's happening tonight? And then like 3 days later, like waiting, what's happening tonight? And then he would tell me, and then he like, I remember he put me on a list somewhere, and I was like, what? Statik just put me on a list in New York. This is lit. And like I remember going there. I don't know if like I was just too nervous to even like go hang out with them, but I was like trying to play it cool so bad. And honestly, I think it was for the best, because shit just kind of happened organically. You know, I ended up going to his studio with an artist that I knew, and then like him just being like, yo, here's my number, stop DMing me, bro, that shit's whack. Like, I'm like, oh, sweet, he gave it to me, awesome. And like just over time, and then all of a sudden I'm fucking driving him around to big meetings and shows, and like to his gigs, and like setting stuff up, and like sitting in a chair like this watching him make beats like every fucking day of the week, bro. Like, it went from, you know, I had to get a job right when I moved to New York, to being like, yo, Statik and my boy Nige, like telling both of them separately, like, yo, I'm gonna fucking quit my job. Fuck this. Like, I'm wasting mad time. Because I had a conversation with a friend in Alcoholics Anonymous, and he broke down how many hours I spent a week going to and from work and being at work. And he was like, don't you think if you just had 1 week and you took that amount of hours that you could like figure out how to do this shit? I was like, okay.
Wow.
I was like, that's a lot of fucking hours, bro. That's 50 hours trying to figure out how to make some money off of something I've already made money off of.
Yeah.
So I quit my job. Nothing in the pipeline either.
Wow.
And
how scary was that?
Oh, it's fucking terrifying, bro. Are you kidding me? I will say it. Most people won't. Some people will, but most people won't say it, bro.
Right.
I was on fucking edge all the time. I wasn't ready to quit a job, but I made the shit happen. That's the thing. It was like, are you going to take the risk? I took the risk of going to New York. Why the fuck am I wasting my time doing this? I was working a job where I was, the first job, I was told I was going to make this much money. I didn't make that much money. I was dwindling my savings down, and I wasn't sleeping at night because I would get up for work, leave my crib at 7:30 in the morning, get out of work at 6, go home, maybe take a shower, or go right to the lab. I go chill with Statik, then we go do something, or we chill. Most of the time, we'd go do something, go to some crazy fucking event. And then I get home at like 3, 4, 5 in the morning. Sometimes I just go straight to work. And I did that for like 6 months straight, bro. I was losing weight. I wasn't getting a haircut. I I had crazy bags under my eyes. The woman that I was dating, I'm not with her anymore, but the woman I was dating at the time was like fucking terrified that I was gonna like die from like just not eating, sleeping, or whatever. And I was like, bro, I was completely fucking broke. I'm like, we'd be going somewhere and everyone would want to get food. I'm like, fuck, bro, I got like $40 to my name.
Right.
I got like a quarter tank of gas. I don't know how I'm gonna pay fucking bills. All right, cool, whatever.
Jesus Christ.
Like one of the homies would pay for me to get some food. Statik always showed me love. Or like I would just do that and just figure it out.
Was it like a big like culture shock coming from like Maine to New Hampshire? Like what was that like? Like how long did that take you to get like used to? Like,
that's a great question.
Yeah, bro. That shit was crazy. Yo, but the thing is, it's like I already not like, oh, I was fucking made for this shit or whatever, because like I don't know who is, like no one knows. But like my mind is like really fast. I'm normally like a really chill dude, but like I'll be having a mature, very laid back conversation with you, but I have like 30 thoughts going on at once. So like the thrill of New York City was almost like calming to me, because it was like it was like if you give an upper to a kid that has ADHD, you're giving them Ritalin, it's bringing them down. So I'm like able to do all this crazy stuff, and like my mind's not shutting off when I'm trying to tell it to shut off. Normally, I'm just fucking doing it, and I'm like, bro, I can have any kind of food I want anytime. Like, I'm chilling with legends right now, bro. Like, it was fucking, especially, bro, you gotta think about this too. Like, within a couple months, I'm chilling with Show Off every night of the week. So it wasn't like, oh, I came to New York and like had the normal New York fucking experience. No, bro. We're getting on like people that I met right away, and then all of a sudden a month later, they're like, yo, how the fuck are you getting backstage? And like, what are you doing?
It's like you already had that like pent up energy that like you were just able to like use right away. Okay.
Exactly. I was able, and I was telling Statik and Detroit about that the other night. Like, you know, New York will eat people up, and I was like, yo, I felt like my mind was like made for this shit, and it was like, but I wasn't sharp right away. I wasn't like on it. Like there was shit that I had to catch on to. There was just, you know, fashion sense, like when to do this, when not to do this, shit like that. And there was a lot of trial and error. There was a lot of getting used to stuff. And it was really fucking intense, bro. It was a tough experience, and it was like everything that I need and still need to this day. You know?
So when you wish someone a good morning the first time and they told you to go fuck yourself, were you like in shock?
Oh, I was like, yo, this is lit. I was like, yo, piss on the sidewalk. Yo, I remember that for the first time. Yo, pissing on the sidewalk like in Times Square felt amazing. It was like eating the best pizza at like 3 or 4 in the morning and just like chilling and like looking at the fucking lights. Or like, how the fuck, dude, it's 6 in the morning and I'm like, we're just chilling at this like dope after hours spot. And just like, sometimes, yo, you're freaking out. You're freaking out about money. You're doing this, you're doing that. But then you like hit a brick wall. You might be going over a bridge, or like there was like I used to live in Flatbush, and I would go on the BQE and I would see Manhattan right by Dumbo. You see all the tall buildings, and I'm just like, yo, there's so much shit going on in those buildings. Like, there's so many people up to something. You know what I mean? I came from a place where it was like, yo, get a job, like you gotta be settled down by the time you're like 32, shit like that, and I'm just like, yo. Like, real shit is happening out here.
Yeah, I get to piss on the sidewalk.
I get to fucking piss on the sidewalk. This shit is lit. I went to one strip club before I ever moved to New York. That changed.
Hey, you mentioned, because you brought it up, you mentioned AA. How did that come about? I mean, did you get to a point, I mean, if you want to get into what were you on, what did you wake up and realize, all right, I definitely need to, do something?
Like, how
yeah, go start from where Where did it start? From your drug dealer with
Also,
the AK-47?
What's it like? How long is the podcast?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Right.
As long as
for fucking 4 hours.
so,
Nah, we can't be doing this. I'll try to be short. Yeah. So like, I was always a fucking asshole when I was a kid. That's how it started. I was like, Dennis the Menace.
Yeah.
So my real name is Jonas. They used to call me Jonas the Bonus because it sounds lit now, right? So like
that was the best.
Dick.
That should have been your producer name.
But they came up with that because they had to find something close to Dennis the Menace. They were like, this kid is so. I was like Two-Face. I would like help the old lady like shovel her driveway, but then I'd throw a rock through someone's fucking window and like. Give like a porno magazine to like the younger kid, like just
I thought you were gonna say throw a rock through the old lady's window after you.
I always respected old ladies and like people with not authority.
How did you come about giving like the porn to younger kids? Like, did they ask for it, or you just walked up?
I found it. No, I was like, yo, you were the same age when I got my first porno magazine. Here you go. And like, apparently, I was very early with that shit.
Yeah.
But
all right.
yeah. Anyways, I can't believe you grabbed that out of the other shit. Anyways, so I was always a punk kid. I was like stealing out of like whatever candy shops and like smoking fake cigarettes when I was like 10. I was getting in trouble. I got picked up by the cops for the first time when I was like 13. I got like arrested and like was about to face like really serious charges and like be taken away to the state. Like belonged to the state or juvie when I was 14. And like I was told that I fit a description and like I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but I had all the correct things on me. And like at that point in time, that was like a badge of honor. I was like, yo, I fucking made it. So like also mind you, I never went to school. I was homeschooled until I was 16.
Oh wow.
So like that age thing was never really there for me. So like I was 13, my friends were like late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, up to like 35. Because there was a place we would all congregate. It was like a bunch of like transients, hippies, thugged out kids, hacky sack, drug addicts. And this was like before. It's same shit that happened to Brooklyn. It got gentrified back home where I was. It was like an old school biker sailor town with a bunch of hoodlums, and now it's all yuppies. But like I just, I almost got framed for like attempted murder when I was 14.
Holy shit.
And like I had nothing to do with anything, but I was fit a description and I was hung out with the wrong people. I was like being questioned by detectives and shit like that. And then like I didn't get in trouble for like a year, and it was like a celebration for my family. And then something happened when I was 16 and I found hard drugs, and it was like a super rap after that. I was doing like a deadly amount of narcotics of any type of whatever it was, pretty much a deadly amount or a deadly concoction like every day of the week. And, I got more charges. One of my best friends almost died. He's handicapped for the rest of his life because of me. Like, I went through, I was responsible for a lot of crazy shit. And I just spiraled. It sucks, but thank God I spiraled so fast.
Right.
Like by the time I was 17, I had gotten arrested 8 times. I had been to 2 rehabs, broken out of one, kicked out of another one, gone to juvie for a week, was on the run in 2 different states. One state, I had 3 cases running concurrent, and one of them, there was a detective trying to make an example out of me. And he wanted to try to give me 45 to 50 burglary charges.
Jeez.
And that was in Maine, Because the last time I ever used a drug was in jail. The last time I ever drank alcohol, I got drunk. I blacked out on my mother's birthday. I got kicked out of a trailer park. I broke into every car in that trailer park, and I stole a car in Maine. And I woke up going 120 on the highway in another state, in New Hampshire.
Hold up. You were blacked out while driving?
I was blacked out while driving.
Wow.
And I woke up going in and out of traffic over, like I said, 125. I remember going like this and seeing around 125 on the speedometer. And I was going to this is the crazy shit. This is why I believe in a higher power. Is I was going to a place that I never went. I always talk shit about this town. I didn't fuck with the town. I didn't know too many people around there. I was like driving just to drive, and I was super suicidal at the time too. It was like a very dark place. I went off the road, and then I woke up back on the road. And then this should paint the picture is that I crashed into a tree going over 100 miles an hour on a straight road. So I was on a road to destruction completely. And I crawled out of that car while it was on fire.
And you're still totally fine from that too, right? Like you look like you're like
completely fine. Wow. I was completely fine within 4 days. Within 4 days, looked like nothing happened. My mugshot, I had blood all over my face. I got put in jail on fucking crutches for the first time. All that shit. Mm-hmm. It's because I was drunk.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah,
relaxed.
Yeah, exactly. You don't tense up when you're about to hit.
You don't tense up. But I kicked the fucking shit open. Like I literally, the car was on fire. This is the dashboard and the steering wheel. It was like here, and I got out of it, and the EMTs caught me. Like I don't know how far away from the car, but I was trying to flee. I was literally crawling away. I couldn't fucking walk. And and I got booked, and that's what got that detective I mentioned. He saw a pattern that I had been doing with cars and shit, and he was from Maine, scooped me up after I got arrested and was in the hospital. I was in the hospital all fucking night. I don't remember any of it. Damn. I was awake the entire time. I woke up because they said the word catheter. I woke up out of the blackout. Yep. They said catheter, and I ripped everything off. I tried to run out of the hospital, and and that just that started me on a journey.
Well, that like you said, like it's good that it happened at a young age. That like you were able to turn your life around, man. Because a lot of people that we like have talked to about this stuff, it happened while they were on the way to making it big and stuff, when they were like on the road traveling and everything already. Like they could have blown up themselves then, but like you did it early, and now you've totally turned it around.
I've seen horror shows. I've seen people at 50 talk to their kid for the first time. You know what I mean? I've seen, being in Alcoholics Anonymous, you've seen a lot of fucking crazy shit, and like I'm very lucky, and what happened to me is very rare. It doesn't happen a lot. I was on a road where professionals were telling my parents, say goodbye to your kid before he turns 20.
Jeez.
Like, I can't do shit for your kid. Because I would go, every time a professional would see me, I'd be fucking strung out on coke or pills or whatever.
Now, how much, Nev, I have to say, like, I appreciate you opening up about that so much. Like that.
I'm very transparent with this.
Yeah, man, that's a wild story. How much do you think, I don't know if any did, but like maybe, do you think like you were a little different just because you were homeschooled till 16? How different was that than being in school, you know?
I could say that, but like my brother and sister, and I've always said like, yo, what would have happened if I was in school? I could have either, because this is the thing, my mom always had like extracurricular activities for me. I was homeschooled, but like she had me doing so much other shit. She always had me around other kids. I had best friends growing up. Like there was a lot of structure going on. I had responsibilities. I was like making money by doing chores, and then like I had like a dog walking job that I created by the time I was like 11 years old. Like I always had something going on, and my brother and sister, they're fucking straight A students, and they never got arrested, never did any of the shit that I did, even close to it, and they were both homeschooled. So it's really a hit or miss, and it sucks because I've talked to parents a lot. You know what I mean? Because it's like my parents were super loving to me. My parents did not drink or use drugs or anything. Like, I never saw them get high or drunk before.
I have to ask. Sorry, I have to ask, like, because I know that you're a new father, right? Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I can see the
yeah. So like, what you?
Thank you.
Like, if you even want to touch on, like, you having like a newborn, like, how wild is that to think, like, you know, you could have missed it. You know what I mean? Like, you're so grateful that, like, and
every day, bro.
Right.
I have a new life that was, I try to, my girl hates it when I say it, but like I live on borrowed time. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't supposed to be here. There was so many fucking times where I was knocking on death's door, many ways, or like, bro, before all that shit happened, like I was weighing out what my future was gonna look like, and I was like, I didn't have the balls to end it myself. Like I thought about it, I obsessed about it. I didn't, I crashed the car because I was blacked out. You know what I mean? Well, I was like, I'm either gonna keep doing these crazy concoctions of drugs until one day I just overdose and I die, or I'm going to be in jail for the rest of my life, or I forget what. See, this is the thing. Like it's talking about a different person. That's why I'm so okay with it. It was like, yeah, die from drugs, and die from drugs, jail, or end it myself. So that was what I thought my options were, and I had no clue that was before I found out what AA was, any of that. So in the end of all that shit, I got kicked out. There was a lot of like weird shit that like happened. Very like you only could tell it was supposed to happen until after. Like it was very like I wasn't running the show anymore. I would like have a tantrum here out of nowhere, and then it would land me here, or this would happen and it would land me there. I'd go here, and then like I ended up doing a program in a jail in New Hampshire. That was like it was a federally funded program, and it was it was really bad motherfuckers in there, but it was like a boot camp and a rehab behind bars. You get up 5:30 in front of your bed, dressed, bed's made for inspection by 5:35, and like you're at it until 8 p.m. every day for 3 months. And I did that program. I got out. I was still facing all those fucking burglary charges in Maine, but I was like, I found a higher power, and I found a want to live. And I got sober, and I started going to fucking 2-3 meetings a day. I was like, became the fucking poster child of AA. I started speaking at high schools, colleges. Like I was, people trusted me. I got my family back. And, I got a job. I just like created a whole new fucking life. And at that time, I was facing all those charges. I didn't get all those charges. I would still be in prison right now.
Damn.
There was a lot of other shit that happened there too. The detective got kicked off the force. His soon-to-be ex-wife at the time got caught selling Oxycontins out of the preschool she owned. Like there was a lot of crazy shit that happened.
Yeah, that's wow.
Yeah, so like that all happened, and the biggest thing that happened too was like, when you really are doing the right thing, like shit, like actually, not just like being a good person, but like really doing the right thing, they really actually see that. Because you could be like, yeah, I'm clean, I'm sober, like, I'm good, I got my life checked. I got there, and I was like, yo, I have proof of, like, hundreds of meetings. I have, like, a whole book of fucking letters. I have mad people in court with me right now. Like, all this. I was like, yo, mom, bye, I'm out. I'm going to prison. I already know this. But I still was like, here, check this out. The detective never showed up for court that day. And the judge and the DA and the prosecutor all were like, who the fuck is this guy? I don't even know who this person is anymore. The system actually worked. The system's not supposed to work the way it's built. And they know that, and they've seen it mad times, but they saw a kid actually change. And I left that place with fucking community service, some fines, and a speech from all three of them about that's like what they fucking live for.
That's awesome.
Let me ask you this. Now, you said the system is not supposed to work, and I definitely agree with you on that. But in your case, it did work for you. Now, do you think it's more because of you as an individual saying, like, I'm going to take this initiative and I'm going to take advantage of these programs that they have in here? Or is it more people's lack of responsibility for themselves when they do go to prison? Because these programs, like you said, are there. But are people just...
There's a lot of resources. But by the time you get to that shit, nah, bro. Like, I'll tell you one thing right now, and this is crazy because of what's going on right now. Is when you go to AA, for the most part, like, the only time I've ever been the minority being a white person is when I went to an AA meeting in the Bronx. For the most part, it's been ingrained in, and I almost can't believe I'm saying this, but there's a lot of people that get caught up in the system. A lot of minorities get caught up in the system. And there's this pride thing that I saw. And not even just minorities, just people that are coming from the street, that are getting locked up, and there's been this cycle for so fucking long. So by the time that you get to a rehab or something that's going to help you, you've had this motherfucker in the back of your head and this system rotating and just making it almost impossible for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you've created your own belief system that it's not going to work.
Yeah, from the lack of opportunity in certain places to live. Because I grew up in a very, like, you know, a decent fucking town. Like, I grew up in a good town, loving parents, this and that, all that. But, like, there's a lot of shit where it's like, oh, no, I'm not an alcoholic. I just like street life. You know what I mean? And that comes with being institutionalized. I've seen a lot of people being institutionalized. I'm the only person from that group of men that was in that program that either survived, didn't go into jail, or stayed sober. So for me, I think, like, I'm the only pretty much survivor from that if you count all the other things. For me, I think it was a divine intervention, to be honest with you. But I was also so desperate at that point. Like, I walked into that place, I was going to bullshit them. I knew about AA, I knew about this, I knew how the lingo. I could bullshit them. And they called it right away. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll just get into it. And something fucking changed. You know what I mean? I was willing enough, because I was so miserable, I was willing enough to actually change.
Do you still struggle with addiction in a sense where it's like you still want it, or you just know, you don't even look back? Like, if you see somebody with a beer or, you know, a blunt or weed or something like that, do you look at it like, damn, I want that? Or you just completely just know you're better off?
No, I'll be completely, because I've been transparent the whole time. It's not, oh, I want that. And it's not, I don't have that obsession. For me, the obsession got relieved within the first month and a half. And that was, I started praying and I started doing the right shit. That's why I think there was a big divine intervention, because for me, I don't know how not to think about getting fucked up and stealing my friend's money that I'm best friends with and going to smoke a fucking 8-ball of crack. Like, I don't know how to not do that. Like, that was ingrained in me and just stuck there. But no, if something comes up like that, it's more so like a slight thought that passes. It's like, man, I wish I could smoke some bud.
Mm-hmm.
Like the weed now is crazy. Or like, man, I never had a legal drink.
Wow.
I got sober a month before I turned 18.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever thought about like telling your story to young kids that maybe be struggling with the same thing?
I have, and I've done that. And I started this whole thing, and then, you know, I moved, I had a different job, now I'm in a big city. I've talked to other people about it. It's just, you know, now I have a career going on. I call it youth helping youth, because what I saw was a lot of, like, you know, you go see Dare, whatever, it's a cop, or it's an old guy. Maybe they might have someone from AA, but it's like an older dude, where, you know, in AA, you're supposed to identify and not relate, but, like, when you're not in AA, or, like, you're not even close to that, you just try to relate, or you can't identify. Like, you can't even, dude, you're on your fucking phone, you're talking to some chick, you're whatever, because you don't care about that person speaking. But when I would go up to this, like, I used to speak at this one high school that was, like, really, really bad. They'd be like, what? Dude, I was like 18, 19 years old talking to kids that are like 16, 17. So they are way more willing to open up. Mm-hmm. Now I can still do it. You know, I'm about to turn 30, but, like, I can still do that because I can be like, I was 16. I was that age. I got sober at that stage. Like, I can always, no matter how old I am, I can always use that. I might have to work a little harder because I have a beard now and I don't look as young and shit like that. But I can still be like, dude, I was literally in your situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where they can't relate to the man or woman that lost their husband or wife in a divorce. Are you fucking kidding me? Great. When I heard that, you know what I said? Awesome. I have fucking 15 more years to get high.
You're right.
That literally solidified that. I got mad. I got a long time. I don't even have to fuck my parents. They don't need to get on me about this. I'm good. People don't quit until later on.
I like that. I mean, shit. We touched on hip hop and this. Wow. Like, that is insane, like, stories, which I appreciate. Before we get into our final segment here, if you guys don't have any other questions, we like that. I know we got really serious, so at the end we like to have a little fun.
Yeah, my bad for the serious.
No, bro, it was amazing. Like, I just love talking to people. We love getting.
Yeah, we can get back into hip hop. I'm down.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
It's lit.
Dan, did you have one more question?
Yeah. So the last one is, and I always find it interesting. How do you pick NEF as your?
Oh man, I don't know. It's weird, right? So my question is, what do you think of? Anything? Like, are you just like, what the fuck? That's a weird name.
I think TruExact's weird. I think everything's weird. So whatever else is it?
I think it's a unique name, especially for anyone.
I'm a pretty unique motherfucker.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. No, but like, being an artist, being a DJ, no matter what it is you do, you have to have something that shows who you are and it stands out.
Yeah. So I rebranded. It was very, very unique. It used to be DJ Nefarious or Nefarious. And I was like, man, this is going to be a little much. Like, this is like, I wanted to like be like that weird, like, what does that mean? Well, you got to look it up in the dictionary. Like, I also wanted something that had substance to it. And something very deep. Like, I've always had purpose and meaning with life and everything. Mm-hmm. Always been a thinker. And then, I moved to New York. Everyone's got a cool name. I was like, damn. And then Statik and one of the homies, Nige, sat me down, and they were just like, bro, nah. Like, you got to do something. And I was like, I know. And they thought I was like pissed at them. And I was like, nah, seriously, bro. Like, I've literally been trying to figure it out.
What?
And they're like, no, for real? And I was like, no, like, let's do this right now. Like, stop what you're doing. Like, let's just get it done. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. And he was like, bro, everybody calls you NEF already. I was like, that's cool. Because it was true. It was like, yo, it's my boy NEF. Because you don't want to be like, yo, it's nefarious. Like, they're like, what? You just called me? Like, yo, saying that shit in the club?
Nefarious.
Yo, you're a furious what? What the fuck are you saying? So yeah, we figured it out that night. Well, like literally that night, it was like, yo, people call you NEF, like it's catchy, people like it. I was like, I love it. Cool, let's go with that. And I changed all my handles that night and just haven't looked back since. Awesome. And the thing is, I hadn't released anything really music-wise since I had gotten to New York.
Right.
So it's almost like turning an entire leaf.
It was like perfect timing.
Really perfect timing. And Statik said that night, like, if you're going to do this, bro, you got to do it, like, right fucking now. He's like, you're about to get shit popping. Like, you got to do it now. So like, all right, cool. So it kind of, like, left my old self back, and I completely turned a new chapter in New York.
Nice. No, that's bro. That was like, bro. I can't even get over like how awesome this was. Like seriously, like you being that open is really cool, man. It means a lot, and like it's just, that story is wild. Like I can't get over it. 120 miles. But anyway, the last segment we like to do is called
Ghost.
Yeah, it's called Gun to Your Head. All right, buddy. It's
what's this?
It's fun. Don't worry. This is.
I suck at any kind of questionnaires.
No. This is good. This is good. So we
each ask. No, I'll draw a blank.
We each ask 2 questions, okay? And we do a little wordplay involved since we're sort of a hip hop podcast. It's not your typical like Maps, Globes, Coke, Pepsi. We like to like switch it around a bit. So we each ask 2 questions, and you have to pick your favorite question after you answer them, okay?
I think I'm following. Okay.
Okay, all right.
I'll go first.
I'll let Eric go first.
I like that. Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
You know have you been in New Orleans? You know the little beignets that they have, little treats?
I'm from Louisiana, so well.
Okay, all right.
So,
Would you rather eat a beignet every day, or have to wear a beignet every day?
Yeah, definitely a beignet.
Okay, yeah, that's much easier once I said it. Would you rather join the Army for 1 year or Army crawl everywhere you go for the rest of your life?
What? Oh fuck, that sucks. Because I hate what's going on. I would still join the Army for a year.
You're joining the Army, okay.
All right. We'll go with Dan.
Okay. Would you prefer to live in Maine for the rest of your life, or get rid of that mane on your face?
Oh, I get rid of it.
Okay.
I look sexy.
Travel by wormhole, but you don't know where you're going, or have a bunch of worms digging a hole, and you know where you're going every time.
Wait, dig a hole?
So it's
but what kind of hole are we talking? Like, do I have to like go and chill with the worms?
I don't know, just a bunch of worms digging a hole wherever you want to go, and you just travel wherever you want to. Go to China.
Oh, San Diego worms, and then just like
yes.
Yeah, I think worms.
All right.
Take forever.
Now feels like a million worms. We never said that. I mean, it could just be an army of worms. Just
they could just dig a hole next to me, and then I'm just like, yo, I'll buy a
like a show Trump, the movie Trump.
Just jump right in, and there you go.
I
hate not knowing what's about to happen.
I'll go. All right, Neff, for 1 year, would you rather have a job juicing oranges or only drink orange juice?
I would love to drink orange juice. Wait, no food?
Yeah, yeah.
Orange juice.
Okay. All right. Would you rather have a duck tail or have a job tailing ducks?
Full time?
Yes.
Wait, what the fuck is tailing a duck?
Like following them around like a spy. Following them around like a spy.
Oh, bro, I'd blow up on IG doing that. What are you talking about?
All right. Brian, you're up.
That's so fucked up.
All right. Would you rather have to wear a goose down jacket all year long or go down on a goose?
That's a good one.
Goose down, Jack.
Even in the summertime?
Bro, I could wear that shit on my elbows. I'm just like, I'm really high. It's just really low. Yeah.
All right. Would you rather fight Iron Man or fight a man who has an iron?
A man with an iron.
All right,
Yeah.
Neff, your favorite.
That's survival.
Neff, your favorite question. Who's the winner?
Oh shit. I think the worm won.
Dan's on a roll.
Look at Dan.
On fire!
3 in a row. Best dressed man in the DC land.
I don't even remember what happened with Eric. Sorry, buddy.
It's all right. That's why you can't go first. You can't go
All
first.
right.
I don't even remember.
I had the best one, but you
much.
forgot. That's fine.
Thanks. Thanks for coming out, bro. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you for having me.
Anything that you want to push for
Oh yeah,
that's coming
go
out?
plug your stuff. Sorry about that. Plug your
Yeah,
stuff.
all right. So, produced by NEF, everywhere. NEF, produced by NEF, IG, Facebook, Twitter. My IG has the link in my bio. It's just a link tree, so it's literally, if you just go to my IG, or the link in my bio, you can see all my music, my beats, my beat store, all that kind of stuff. Sign up for the newsletter for announcements about beats, new merch, new music. Right now, me and Dirty Sanchez are about to release. We're aiming for the 27th of this month. 10-track project. It's going to be super dope. We did a project last year, Divine Time. This one's going to have a similar sound, but just more evolved. We got bigger artists on it this time. I think we definitely created a fan base from the last one. And then I'm also working on a couple other people's projects right now, but these are the two that are just really big that I'm pushing. Is the one with Dirty Sanchez, and my own. So I don't have a release date on my own project, but I'm pretty fucking close to getting all the features I need, all my production. I got a bunch of people on there. I'll spill the beans a little bit. I got Nims, Razkaz, Rome Streets, Dirty Sanchez, Tech. I got Statik on there, Term, couple other people, some cronies. And I'm really excited about this. I did one when I first started making beats, and it was fucking bukkake. It was fucking garbage. And it's a new me. It's a new place, new beats. It's going to be dope. Just go check me out on IG. Go to the link in my bio. Get everything there.
Thanks a lot, buddy. We'll be sure to check it out, man. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.